I've got a couple of questions here from callers who were unable to hang on. And one of them I want you to talk about. What's changed about you, particularly, since you were on council the last time? They would like to know because they felt that you didn't bring enough change the last time you were on council. That you were just an opinion while you were number 1 of 12. So what's about you that changed that's going to make you a stronger voice, a stronger advocate for the people if you get elected?
Well, I mentioned at the press conference Friday that a huge incentive for me is that my daughter and son-in-law got married in the last year. They have now bought a house in Crossgates, and they're expecting their first child in January, about the time that I'll be taking office on city council. Mm-hmm. That's a huge incentive for me to have family here in town. I want to look out for their interests, but the interests of all these young people. It's amazing to me, in the last 4 days, we've gotten 50 to 60 volunteers for the campaign that are all under the age of 30. And I think that that's good. I've always coached, I've worked with the young people, and I think they appreciate that, and I appreciate their support.
Now there was a charge though while you were on council that you weren't much of a, and it goes to George Saranto and Betty sometimes too, that you weren't much of a Republican, that you were more of a Republican light. If you get elected, are we going to see a drop in taxes? Are we going to see less regulation? Are we going to see a cut in some of the wasteful spending, like on the Erie Street Market and some of the other things that we spend money on? Are those the kind of things that you'd fight for this time?
Certainly, but you also need to have some support on council, and there were a number of issues that I, as a conservative, voted against. I mean, sometimes that's all you can do, is vote against and try to pull the support together. Again, the tow lot, the BLS service. But I think it's incumbent upon the voters to look at what's gone on in the last year and a half. We had a balanced budget when I left. We had money. The rainy day fund was solid. Obviously, the economy is not as good, but we were in a bad economy 2 years ago too, and we still survived. What the voters need to do is look long and hard at the candidates and say, let's pick some conservative candidates this time. We're going to look long and hard at the budget, look long and hard at the possibility of lowering taxes, incentivizing people to live and to work here, and by golly, we might see some change. But I hear you guys say all the time, it's been the same folks in power for 40 years. It has been, yeah. When I came on council, you had Democrats and Republicans, but there were Democrats like Gene Cook, who were very pro-business and worked very hard. Gene was a guy that I looked up to then, I still look up to.
Well, and I'd like to see more of that. I'd like to see more pro-business people on council. Right. So, well, we'll have you back again. I'm sure that Brian's going to schedule a time to have you on.
Right.
And maybe you ought to consider as your campaign slogan, Rob Ludeman, long and hard. I'm out of here. In fact, I may be out of a job. See you tomorrow, 1370 WSPD.